So this is about my what I use for a kiln to dry my lumber from my sawmill, and I thought I'd just kind of go over what I think is actually working out to be a pretty good deal. This is a one-time use container that we purchased, and I'm going to walk up here and kind of go through some of this. This is the only spot I got where you can actually still see the footing it's sitting on. It's a large, I guess a concrete tee, because I figured this would be sitting here the rest of my life. So I didn't, normally they sit them on blocks of wood and stuff. I wanted something that wasn't going to move. So each end of this has got about 3,500 pounds of concrete under it with rebar. It creates a T like you see sticking out here. There's one underneath that you can't see. And of course it's sitting on a piece of pressure treated lumber. I kind of missed slightly on the dimensions, but it won't ever move. The other thing I get kind of a kick out of is if we walk over here and look at the tag on this, it doesn't come up for inspection until 2025. It was built in 2020. So when you buy one of these, you get brand new everything. It was about, I think it was around $4,500 to buy it and have it delivered. Now, one of the things I did do to it after I first used it was the floor is not really sealed very well. It's got a preservative on it or something, but the water soaks into it. So this is painted with 2 coats of polyurethane floor enamel, and so far it has worked quite well. And I will throw a picture in here of this guy. This is a dehumidifier, and we found trial and error. Dehumidifier, and then a fan. I don't know if it's got the size on it, but I'll get that later. This fan runs generally low all the time, and the dehumidifier, once you shut the doors, it's on all the time. And I know someone's gonna comment about this, but what I'm using out through the seal is it's a heavy duty cord for air conditioners. And yes, I know that's not really the correct way to do that. The cord seems to be holding up just fine. It doesn't care that it's in the seal. Did I get that on there? Yeah. I see no wear anywhere. Mainly because, one, containers are made out of hardened steel. I didn't want to drill a hole in it. I don't want to create rust spots that it doesn't need. So the goal was to keep it as pristine as possible. And the other thing I've come up with in stickering this stuff, of course, ain't no big deal. Ratchet straps. That one could probably use a little more lockdown. And what I found is the ratchet straps, when you tighten them, they pull to one side, and I found this to be the quick remedy to that, is take a mallet and just beat on them, and it makes them flat again. We'll go down to this one. These were put in just a couple days ago, and they need a little more tightening down. And that seems to it's worked quite well at keeping everything flat. Right now I got a stack here that I'm putting together, and cut that yesterday. And then we've got a stack right here that has to get put in. It'll probably go on top of this. One of the other things that I added on this is these pieces of wood here that are dadoed out a little bit of an angle. You can see that was done to kind of relieve some of the stress of the tape going over the edge on the strap. And we marked them all with their length so that you know what you're stacking up. The idea being I have basically straight pull down on each side of my load. The first time we did this, we just put ratchet straps over the top of the wood, and that tended to not make things lay flat. This actually ties everything up pretty flat. And of course, stickers. I'm getting rid of all my scraps, and I just set these are a little under 20 inches so they don't get in the way of the clamps, but they're just 1 inch square, and we've kind of made that a rule in making stickers. Everything's going to be 1 inch. It saves having to think what you got in here. And we have a couple of boxes of different lengths. The one behind me, those are all for 20 inch. And then these over here are random pieces that fill in where need be. And I will point out the dehumidifier, the wood that we just put in here, which is what you see right there, that stack, and the lower section of this longer stack. This dehumidifier was putting out 4 gallons of water per day. It's now starting to slow down a bit. Now, granted, when we put it in, the wood had been rained on, so it was all wet, but I recently did some willow, and this thing for probably a good week or better collected 4 gallons of water per day. So you come out every morning and empty it. And like today, it's quite warm in here, so we'll just leave the fan going and shut the dehumidifier off, and just usually just open one door, just crack it open 3-4 inches, and put the fan right next to the door blowing air in here, and just let it blow air through. So this process that I've done a couple times through now, I can get this wood down to 6% moisture in about a month and a half, and it seems to do quite well in here. So that's all I have today, just a little thing of my method of how to dry lumber, since it's part of the thing that takes a long time.